This is an advert for Squarespace.
Hello, I'm the algorithm. I want to help you and give you what you want and like. Today, I'm going to help you get a website. You want one, it's very nice and useful. You can make a website at Squarespace. If you go to squarespace.com/Buxton, you can do a free trial. Oh gosh, look at all the templates they've got. Try them out. They look so professional and classy. You like to look professional and classy, and I want to help you do that because I'm the algorithm. I think you will like Squarespace. You can put things in the pages so easily, like typing and pictures and video, and you can set up a shop or get subscribers and send out newsletters to all of them. And when you decide it's time to purchase your website or domain, if you use the offer code BUXTON, you'll save 10%. I am the algorithm. I just want to help you and give you what you want and like with Squarespace.
I added one more podcast to the giant podcast bin. Now you have plucked that podcast out and started listening. I took my microphone and found some human folk. Then I recorded all the noises while we spoke. My name is Adam Buxton, I'm a man. I want you to enjoy this, that's the plan.
Hey, how you doing, podcats? It's Adam Buxton here, reporting to you from a crunchy Norfolk farm track at the end of the first week of September 2025. It's a beautiful, balmy afternoon out here in East Anglia, and I'm walking with my best dog friend, Rose. Say hello, Rosie. Just saying hello with breath this week. She's in quite a good mood today. Didn't seem overly resistant to the idea of a walk, and why would she? It's a lovely afternoon. I'm glad to say that in the last few weeks, the quivering in the flanks that used to set in at the mere mention of a walk has subsided, and Rosie just seems altogether a bit more chill, which is nice. So that's Rosie news. She's doing well. Aren't you, doglegs?
Please don't patronise me.
I apologise. Oh, it's a nice warm breeze I'm getting here. I'm wearing shorts. Now look, before I tell you a bit about my guest for this week's conversational ramble, I would like to give a shout out for a future guest. I'm going to be talking to Eric Idle of Monty Python, who, apart from everything he's achieved in TV and film and the theatre, is, of course, one of the all-time great writers of funny songs that you actually want to listen to more than once. There's the Galaxy song, the Philosopher's song, the Penis song, and of course, Always Look on the Bright Side of Life, which gives its name to Eric's forthcoming live tour of the UK, kicking off in Birmingham on the 10th of September, and then heading to Brighton, Liverpool, Manchester, Glasgow, Edinburgh, Bournemouth, ending up in London on the 27th of September, 2025. You can expect, according to the poster, an evening of comedy, music, philosophy, and one fart joke. Eric was on great form when I spoke to him a couple of months ago, so grab a ticket now at ericidle.com or via bookingsdirect.com. Okay, now let me tell you a bit about podcast number 257, which features a rambling conversation with English actor Benedict Timothy Carlton Cumberbatch. Here's a very cursory selection of Cumberfacts for you. Born in 1976, that's the year the Queen pulled down her nicks, as we all know. I won't tell you what she did next, but it was pretty shocking. Benedict is the son of successful theatre and TV actors Wanda Ventham and Timothy Carlton. He was sent to boarding school at a young age, like me, although we didn't talk about that, for a change. After studying drama in Manchester and getting his MA in classical acting at LAMDA, the London Academy of Music and Dramatic Art, Benedict spent the latter half of the 2000s becoming increasingly celebrated for his theatre work. But the role that brought him into the wider public consciousness and kept him occupied for much of the 2010s was as the brilliant but abrasive detective Sherlock Holmes in the BBC series Sherlock, created by Stephen Moffat and Mark Gatiss. The huge success of that portrayal no doubt contributed to his award of a CBE in 2015 for services to the performing arts and to charity. But by then he had also appeared in films including Starter for 10, Atonement, the 2011 adaptation of Tinker Tailor Soldier Spy, and Steven Spielberg's War Horse. His first Oscar nomination was for playing computer scientist and cryptologist Alan Turing in 2014's The Imitation Game. And he was nominated again in 2021 for his portrayal of a charismatic but cruel rancher in 1920s Montana, in Jane Campion's adaptation of Thomas Savage's 1967 novel, The Power of the Dog. And, of course, you know Benedict as Dr. Stephen Strange in one of my favourite Marvel movies, Doctor Strange. More recently, Benedict appeared in the film adaptation of Max Porter's novella, Grief is the Thing with Feathers, which blends fantasy and horror elements in a story about a father losing his wife. The film is the dramatic debut of British director Dylan Southern, who has previously directed excellent music docs about Blur LCD sound system and the New York City music scene of the early 2000s. That was called Meet Me in the Bathroom. Really enjoyed that. The Thing with Feathers, though, is due for release in the UK at the end of October this year. My conversation with Benedict took place a few weeks ago in late June, in a big room in a fancy hotel down the road from Trafalgar Square in central London, where Benedict was doing several days of interviews to promote The Roses, just released as I speak in UK cinemas, a twisted comedy drama in which a married couple's relationship implodes crazily following the sudden realignment of their parental and professional roles. The film is directed by Jay Roach, the helmsman of Meet the Parents and Austin Powers, and the screenplay is by Tony McNamara. He wrote The Favourite and Poor Things, directed by Yorgos Lanthimos. The Roses is based on the 1981 book The War of the Roses by American author Warren Adler. That was previously adapted in 1989 by Danny DeVito, who cast Kathleen Turner and Michael Douglas in the central roles. In this reimagining, Benedict stars as architect Theo Rose, alongside Olivia Colman. She plays Theo's wife, Ivy Rose, who, at the midpoint in her life, suddenly finds professional success as a chef. Theo and Ivy's friends, couples who are dysfunctional in their own ways, are played by SNL stars Kate McKinnon and Andy Samberg, as well as the excellent Zoe Chow and one of my comedy heroes, Jamie Demetriou. Elsewhere, the cast includes Alison Janney, Sunita Mani, and Doctor Who star Nkuti Gatwa. Before meeting Benedict, I had received an email from the film company that, as is often the case with promotional interviews, made it clear that questions should pertain to the film and should not be of a personal nature or in reference to gossip, politics, or other projects. Nevertheless, Benedict gave me a bit of latitude. And also, as well as The Roses, we talked about his appearances on Saturday Night Live, the challenge of balancing a successful career with married life and young children, whether couples therapy works, why actors lose their shit on film sets, and whether I should retire my Christian Bale on-set meltdown jingle. But we began by talking about Benedict's 2021 appearance on Mark Maron's podcast, WTF, on which they had discussed The Power of the Dog, which at the time had just been released. And things at one point got a little bit tense, only a tiny bit though, because of comments that Benedict's co-star Jesse Plemons had made about the character that Benedict played. Well, we actors get very protective of our characters, don't we, Doglegs?
I wouldn't know.
Yes, you would, because I love you. I love you, Doglegs.
Anyway, I'll be back at the end with a couple of recommendations for you, but right now, with Benedict Cumberbatch. Here we go.
Ramble chat, let's have a ramble chat. We'll focus first on this, then concentrate on that. Come on, let's chew the fat and have a ramble chat. Put on your conversation coat and find your talking hat. Yes, yes, yes.
was Maron going on there while we're on the subject?
He was extraordinary. I didn't know quite what a thing it was, right? I mean, I knew him, and I hadn't listened much to the podcast at the time, and I knew him from his various great performances in various films. Anyway, I ended up being quite combative, and I think we had a bit of a little bit.
You were talking about the year of the dog.
We were talking about no, that's a Chinese thing. We were talking about the power of the dog.
The power of the dog. It was one of the dog.
Might have been in the year of the dog.
It was one of the big dog films.
It was, yes, How to Train Your Dog. I think it was something either Jesse had said about his character, knowing something about my character. I think that was it, actually. And I went scarred deep. I can remember it that quickly. And I was immediately like, no, he can't say that. And I just sort of turned into a thing. And I was like, why don't I just waste a bit of man classic time just kind of arguing a point that
it was good. It was good. It was a good chat. You weren't genuinely riled, though, were you? Or were you?
No. I think I got a little bit on my higher horse. I do that sometimes with characters that I feel very affiliated with, or processes, or whatever. And it's sort of like, no, Ben, you were in your own world doing that. So someone else has also a world. It's a classic thing we do in life as well. It's just thinking, but it's all about my story, rather than understanding there has to be bridge building and other people's stories as well. So I think it was just a very immersive thing for me, and I was quite protective of where I thought things were at. But guess what? Another actor had a different idea, and it works. It all works on screen. So
it's nice. It's nice to have a spicy, non-sanitized conversation.
Yeah,
I think there are too few of those.
I agree. It's not just sort of slapping platitudes. There was some conversation. There was some argument or dialogue, at least.
Yeah.
But I do remember him being really witty and really funny and dry, and thinking, I've got to listen to more of these things I've just done, sort of badly out of time. But
he's good.
He's great.
How was SNL?
Second time round. Really enjoyable. First time round, mastermind plus a coffee enema and just naked in Times Square. It's just so, you're also exhausted because you do the pre-records until sometimes I think I wrapped at like 3 a.m, and then you're ready to go at a sort of show time, like a 7 or 8 o'clock kind of show time. They go, no, we don't start this shit until 11:30 at night, and it's really, really, really exhausting. So you kind of go in going, I should be in bed, and then you have this absurd amount of adrenaline as well. It's a really horrible state to be in first time round. Second time round, you just breathe a bit more. You get a little. I acclimatized myself to doing things later in the day, and they knew me. Some of the ones that were there last time I did it were there this time, and wrote a little bit more around me. And
do you have techniques because I can imagine that even you, as someone who presumably has overcome many of your performance nerves and has all sorts of techniques for doing so, suddenly you find yourself in an unfamiliar environment.
Where's this going?
Like SNL.
Like
no,
this?
I'm just wondering what actual do you have actual techniques in those situations, or are you just always styling it?
I think the first time around you have to learn experientially, is that the word? But you just have to do it, and it's always exciting when you have a new challenge in our world, and it's rare. And so I kind of embrace that. I like being a bit scared. Sometimes I think I like it too much than I actually do, and then I get to actually doing it going, why am I putting myself and my body through this? Because it's a lot. It taxes you. Definitely a few grey or missing hairs. And then you kind of go, okay, I've kind of got this, and then it becomes fun. But yeah, no, I like the challenge. I love the challenge of it, and it's such an institution over there, and I've only ever seen bits of it. It's not something that we have broadcast live yet for obvious reasons, but you catch it. I think it's on Comedy Central now, I think, or you get little bits of most of the shows now are on YouTube, but it's not inherently part of our culture like it is over there. It's a really big deal, and it felt like a huge honour to be asked, and I'm often flattered into doing things that are deeply uncomfortable because people tell me it's a huge honour, and I get why, sometimes not, but I like to give it a go, and I've always been a bit like that. And it's not fearlessness, it's sort of foolhardiness and wanting to be put in a place where I have to think outside of the usual pattern, which is probably why I go a bit crazy at the end of a press junket, because it's very, very sort of Groundhog Day-ish.
Was that the first time, speaking of SNL, that you had met Kate McKinnon?
That was the first time, yeah.
Right.
And she was apparently a big fan of Sherlock. And I still find it difficult being around her. I'm so in awe of what she does.
Yeah, she's very funny.
So off the wall. But you can have an ordinary conversation, not to dispel any kind of show business, but she's wonderful. I still, though, get a bit nervous around her.
We're going to jump into the middle of the roses by discussing a moment with Kate McKinnon, and then we'll pull focus and talk about the wider implications of the roses and what it's all about. But there is a moment in that film.
Listeners don't know how you just described all of that with your hands.
And gesticulating.
You would have landed at an airplane with those gestures. It was amazing.
The Trump of podcasting with my hands.
No, that would be just like this.
Just
little gestures.
Tiny gestures. Yeah, how is your Trump impression?
I think, like, everybody, it's okay, but it's not good.
It's sad.
It's sad. Is it?
It's
I don't
pathetic.
know. It's pathetic. It's pathetic.
It's very bad.
Benedict
Very, very bad.
Very, very bad.
He's sad, this guy. British guy. Very disappointing.
He's so everywhere that everyone, even people who don't do impersonations, have got something. It's just, he's everywhere, isn't it?
Yeah,
it's just
it's terrible.
a thing.
How about Eddie Redmayne? Can you do a good Redmayne?
I could try. I don't know. Eddie, I feel bad about this because he's a friend of mine.
Sure.
I really like him.
Have you seen him? He goes like this every now and again.
Have you seen him in Jupiter Rising?
No.
Oh, that is a film and a half. I mean, I'm being sincere. That is a fun film to watch.
Is that Wachowski's?
Yeah. It's completely unhinged.
Yeah.
And his performance in it
Is unhinged.
is quite a thing.
He's fucking amazing. Have you seen The Good Nurse?
No.
It's a phenomenal performance, and he is just... he's a friend. We got set up as rivals during a year that we were both nominated for Oscars, which we thought was hilarious because we're friends and because we both love each other's work and know each other and our wives. It's just nuts. It's silly.
Yeah.
And also all that stuff is silly. And clearly he was extraordinary. So how can I begrudge him? A friend who was exceptional. Give it to him.
Sure.
I don't care.
Go and watch Jupiter Rising and then come back to me.
Okay.
It's very good. It's an incredible performance from an extraordinary actor. I mean, he literally delivers his lines like this, and he's completely mad.
So what was I saying before my... Oh, yes, Kate McKinnon.
Yes.
In the film, there is a scene in which her character is sort of lusting after yours. There's a motif.
scene? My
Well, there's
God,
several
yeah.
scenes, yeah. That she's a friend of you and Olivia Colman's character, and she is lusting after you. And at one point, she hangs on to you and sort of frots for quite a while, like really frotting away.
Yeah.
And we're seeing it from every angle, and
Yeah.
she's sort of quivering with orgasmic joy. And I was thinking, what was that like? Did you have to have an intimacy coordinator?
No, we fucking should have done, though. My leg will never recover. No, it was extraordinary. I mean, the hardest thing with her is just not to laugh. And, she was always apologising, usually afterwards, but she was also... I was aware that it was supposed to be a scene where she hugs for an inappropriately long time. That's sort of the button of the moment. And, As it were. And then she did this sort of slow frot. That's the other thing about it. It's very slow, a slow grind with a quiver, an increasing quiver at the end. I mean, it was...
It was sort of sexy.
It was very sexual. But when we got to the dinner scene, which is a later moment than the one we're talking about, it's this extraordinary dinner table scene where the couple are really starting to throw some pretty awful, nasty, barbed, hurtful comments at each other. And the guests are trying to understand whether it's real or just ironic or funny.
The guests are all American.
And they're all American, and they try to have a go at it, and it's really awful. It's just horrible.
It's a really funny
scene. It's a very funny scene. But underneath it, there's this kind of core of us really destroying each other. At one point, Kate McKinnon's character tries to empathise with Ivy, Olivia's character, and goes, I know just what you're feeling, babe, about her 2 children going to college too early, in her opinion. And she gives these examples, and there's only one, obviously, in the film, but it was just unbearable, partly because this great, great talent of comedy of our age, she'd start on a line of a new idea, and then she'd stop and start laughing at what was coming towards her. And that was it. We're like, well, we're not going to last. If you, because she doesn't crack when she's in one. She just does it. But my God, it was a very fun day at work, being right in the kind of.
They're trying to do sort of Jesse Armstrong Succession style British put down.
Very good.
Well, and Tony
actually.
McNamara
Yes,
as well.
yes,
He's
yes,
very
yes,
good at
yes.
it as well. But
that's Zoe Chan and Jamie Demetriou. They're the couple who are trying it out. The other architect.
And Jamie Demetriou's character can't really do it and is very hurt by the things that are thrown at him.
And she's
like, what did she say? She said something sort of mad.
She says, "Cry like a bitch, like you did when our dog died, asshole." And she keeps going, and he's just like. It sort of traumatizes everyone, and Andy Samberg's going, "What the fuck?" And it's. And I'm looking at my wife going, this is the atmosphere that you helped create, darling. Thanks so much.
Yeah.
It's a horrible but very, very funny scene.
So, I will set it up in the introduction, but can you tell me briefly what it's about?
The film is about a couple who fall in love in a sort of very fast way. They're both disheartened with England. They've reached sort of stalemates in their careers. They're childless. They're of an age. They think, well, let's just go to America. And they kind of do. And you cut to 10 years later, they've got the 2 kids in the house and his work's going well. And she's still being brilliant at what she does as a chef, but only at home. He gets her prize, the prize money he gives to her to start a restaurant so that she can wow the world instead of 2 kids, well, 3 including her husband, at home with these amazing kind of dessert creations and food of iconic status. And his career is going great guns. I think he got an award for his opening, and there's a disaster with the building that basically has him cancelled as an architect. And he has to reorientate his life and does so around his children and family and devotes himself to staying at home whilst her career just ascends. And it's really the story of a couple who love each other very much but just start growing apart, and the resentment that creeps in and the lack of communication or seeing each other or paying attention to one another slowly starts to corrode their love at certain points. And then they come back together with humour and love and understanding, and then it really gets pretty diabolical towards the end.
And this
it's based on The War of the Roses.
Right, it's a so-called reimagining. So it doesn't stick exactly to all the beats of that Danny DeVito film.
No, not at all.
And you've seen the DeVito film.
Yes. And it was sort of iconic. Everything they did in that era, I was enthralled by.
1989, I think it was.
1989, indeed. And was it after Romancing the Stone and Jewel and None? I think it was.
Maybe,
but those 2 just had me.
Kathleen Turner and Michael Douglas.
What a couple, you know.
I remember seeing it at the time, so I would have been 19 or 20.
Yeah, I was a bit younger.
What did you make of it? Because I remember thinking, I don't know if I like this. It was too much.
Well, I don't think I was at a sensitive enough age. I just thought, whoa, she just crushed his car. Not with an American accent.
Yeah.
Whoa, he's peeing in the soup. It just seemed extraordinary. And I remembered it being funny because I watched it before we made ours. I was like, fucking hell, this is incredibly bleak.
Yeah.
And that final touch, admittedly brave filmmaking, I suppose, a bold choice where he reaches across for one moment of reconciliation as they're dying.
Yeah.
And she brushes his hand away. I don't find that funny. I find that really bleak. You know?
Yes.
But some people find it funny. It's a bold choice.
Right. I mean, it was definitely a kind of second wave feminist fantasy in some ways. It was like a woman
Here we go.
being able to literally and metaphorically punch back at the kind of man who sort of feels superficially like, I'm a great guy and I'm a nice person to be married to, but actually
was being a bit of an arsehole.
A total arsehole, like the Michael Douglas character in
the
that
tipping
one.
point I really spotted second time round, now as a married man, was when he was disparaging about her in front of his... I'm not saying it's disparaging about my wife. I hope never like this either, but it's awful. It's like if I did that, you know, or if anyone did that, I'd fucking hate them for it. It is horrible. He gets embarrassed about her at the dinner party with his colleagues that he's trying to show off to and impress. And she's cooked it all for them, and you know, she says something, and it's just that is when the cold drop of ice enters her heart, and it's horrible. And I don't think they ever really fall back in love at any other point. Whereas with us, I think we love each other till whatever end is the end.
Yeah, it is really bleak, and he's just a total irredeemable twat.
I think he becomes that, yeah.
And she has twattish elements to her, and one of the themes in the film is this kind of fascination with status and materialism that they both have, which is also there to a degree in your version.
It is, I think so. But somebody brought this up as like, you know, so much has changed. I mean, you know, we're so kind of screwed by ambition now. Hang on a minute, you're talking about a film starring Michael Douglas who just played Gordon Gekko in, you know, Wall Street, saying greed is good. I think materialism was very much born in the 80s in the way that we, you know it now. It's masked in different ways now. It's a little bit more nefarious. You can have it all. Well, you can, but there are costs to having it all. Therefore, you can't have it all. It's true, you can't have it all. Of course you can have a career, always you can have fun, but you have to balance these things. You can't just go all for one and think you can have the other two for free, you know.
Yes.
Do you know what I mean?
I do know what you mean, and that seems to me like a massive segue to me asking you how you do it.
Life.
Exactly, as someone who is so busy and who works constantly. And you have children?
Three boys, yeah.
What sort of ages are they?
6, 8 and 10.
Oh, man. So that's a busy time. And that is a time when you really do want to be around them.
And I am a lot.
Yeah.
I do a lot less now. And when I do it, it's nearly always here. We have a 2-week rule for when it's not here, but more than likely now, we're not a travelling circus like we were when they were very young. I come home and I'm doing less. And so that's it. That's what this part is. And
I'm not trying to make you defensive.
Am I being defensive?
No, I'm joking.
Oh, God, don't. Well, no, because I think it is constantly something it's a checks and balance routine all the time. I'm loving it, and I will constantly feel like I'm doing too much work, or I'm too long at home, or you just have to try and keep feeling out what's right and best for them and for you.
Yeah.
Because I think work is part of who you are.
Sure.
I think that's a really important thing for children to realise as well, and to understand that you love what you do, which I'm very lucky to do. I realise that's also rare air to breathe. And I want them to see that. I want them to see someone who loves what they do and understand why I love what I do. But at the same time, I want them to see me. I don't want just me go, well, I'm going to work because I love it.
Yeah,
How would that feel as a child? So, and I adore spending time with them. It is harder, definitely harder than work.
Yeah.
But it's the most rewarding thing.
What kind of parent are you? Are you
A-class top?
Absolutely smashing it.
No, of course not. I'm fathoming it out as I go and challenged by it all the time. And there's no kind of... I think I like the idea of a whole child, like understanding them and understanding the separation of behaviour from the person, understanding that a lot of what they are throwing out at any age is to do with stuff that they don't understand or that they're struggling with, that's not actually to do with the, fuck you, I hated you, I've hated you since I was born stuff.
Is that what you say to your children? When they misbehave.
I'll use that now, I will use that.
So, the obvious thing would be to ask you about how you achieve that in your own life. You're an incredibly busy person and you want to maintain the Cathedral of Cumberbatch and the world wants you to do so. But how is it possible to take your foot off the gas and just say, actually, I'm going to say no to a lot of things? Presumably there's like a structure around you of people who really don't want you to say no to things as well.
Yeah, and when they have your best interest at heart, sometimes you just have to keep reminding them of the same thing. The school holidays, the sacred dates, the anniversaries, the birthdays, all those things that are not workable. And it's understandable. And it's not that they don't have them. It's like, right, but we do have to show you that so-and-so is cool to, would like to work with you on that, But it's a very empowering thing saying no, and it's also an empowering thing remembering that a career is a lifetime, whereas their childhood is actually the blink of an eye compared to that. So, there's certain stuff that plays in my mind as going, well, I'm going to be out of a playing range if I say no to everything until they're house leavers. Hopefully if that happens in their 20s these days, who knows? But it is the paramount thing that every choice is focused on, really. Obviously the work itself has to be good enough to sacrifice any time away from home. Or let's not say sacrifice, but like work it with home. And that's what's on the page and who's directing and who else is acting in it and whether they're nice. Because I'm at that age now where I kind of want to work with people who are actually nice.
Of course, yes.
I think good work comes of that as well, because it's more trusting. You can really throw it out there and not feel like if you do fail, it'll be a problem. You can just keep having fun with it. And going back to your question, it's the central thing that shapes my choices. And it kind of maintains. I don't really go to algorithms. I've also got a few things, as in, if, oh God, he didn't do that. Well, he slid down the list of people. Now we're going to the people who are like him.
Yeah, I was going to say, like, if you're good, then you're sorted.
One would hope.
So you could, in theory, just press pause for 6 years, and what are they going to do about it? They'll be very happy when you come back.
I'm not sure I would be if I didn't work for 6 years. Is quite a long time.
Sure, also, but what would happen though? Why couldn't you do that?
Oh God, you sound like Sophie.
Your wife?
Yes, my wife. I think it's part of who they have as a father and a husband, and I think they go mad if I stayed at home.
What would you be doing around the home? Would you be building furniture?
I'd probably be making movies out of our lives, or I would probably be building furniture. No, I would go full DDL. I think it's, why not? You know, and every time you veer into that sort of thing, and I did a lot for Power of the Dog, you know, I was like, okay, I've just done some taxidermy. I don't think I'm going to want to do too much of that. It's quite smelly and dirty for obvious reasons. But I you know, the ironmongery, not like the feature in the film, but just living that kind of outdoor life or creative life where you're learning how to grow things and produce things and farm things. I could happily do that. I could happily have a farm somewhere and disappear into that. I played a few artists in my time, and that is something I'd love to really sit down and get on with, and a musician or two. Well, I haven't really played a musician, but I use music.
I was going to ask if you played a musician, and which musician would you play?
Characters that play music. You know, so I played the banjo terribly in Power of the Dog. What musician would I play? I would have loved to have played Bowie, but I'm too old.
You could play late period Bowie. He's got a story that goes right through until he's nearly 70.
You're right.
Very interesting part of his life.
I mean, it's most important to get a blessing for that from the people that mattered most to him in his life. And I think unless that's a go, then it's not going to happen. And there was a project once, but I won't say too much about it. But it didn't really happen because Duncan.
No one's really nailed a good Bowie film yet, I don't think.
I don't want to express an opinion on that. I kind of agree. And
it's so hard to do, isn't it?
It's really hard. And I'm a huge Johnny Flynn fan. I thought he was pretty terrific, but it could have been a better film. But he's a talent.
When your character in The Roses decides that he is going to become the primary caregiver for the children, while Olivia's character Ivy becomes a super chef.
Yeah.
One of the first scenes where we see him making that switch in a slightly manic way is with him running along, taking the children jogging. They're in their early teens. Yeah. And he's like, I'm sick of seeing my wife shoveling sugary treats into the mouths of my children. I'm going to turn them into super athletes and I'm going to be uber dad. And you're running along, correct me if I'm wrong, are you listening to a podcast or are you talking?
I'm listening to Anna Buxton.
Yeah.
That's where you should put the advert. Yeah, I'm not. They're just very snazzy looking glasses that look like they could probably have Google on them.
But you're sort of ranting to yourself.
And I'm just having a middle-aged breakdown. It's a proper midlife crisis moment, or everything's turning on its head, and I'm trying to talk myself positive, basically.
Right.
Whilst ignoring the fact that my kids can hear everything I'm saying. And I'm talking about, you don't want to be part of that. You don't want to be part of that toxic masculinity, jizzing in the face of humanity. You know, he's taking himself apart and sort of doing a cultural appraisal along the way of the state of male masculinity in this moment. And
it sounded very podcast buzzword. Like, I've listened to a lot of podcasts where all those things are expressed, and I've felt those feelings myself as well. Like, sometimes you come out of listening to those conversations and you are filled with a sense of being kind of lost and like, oh my God, what function do I serve as a, privileged?
This is you as the interviewer, or me as the interviewee?
This is me. I'm relating to the character at that moment. Yeah. And having those thoughts as a, privileged middle-aged man, sort of overwhelmed by his position in society and what it should be and what I should be doing as a father, as a husband, as all these things that I am mediocre at so often.
I think that the thing of it as well, which he doesn't see coming, is what he thinks he's doing is screwing up the bit of paper that says be ambitious and throwing it away because it's toxic and awful, and focusing on something more wholesome, which is raising children. But what he doesn't realize, a little bit like an addict going from, I don't know, drugs to working out a lot, he's just going to then channel all that obsession into his children and and completely kind of volte face on the direction they were going in, which was this happy medium-ish, but more maybe mum-influenced sort of laissez-faire parenting. And he's going to be really rigid, give them a lot of structure, make them do a lot of exercise, and stop eating sugar. And they're going to get turned on by it. I mean, kids do like structure, so give them a structure, they'll kind of go with it. He doesn't realize in that moment of going, I'm going to be a better person by doing something wholesome, he's actually doing something quite obsessive, in the same way as, architecture was his obsession.
And in the process, driving a wedge between him and his wife.
Exactly.
Because her relationship with her children is now compromised. She doesn't spend so much time with them. Yeah. It breaks her heart when she realizes
and her way of communicating with them is food, and he's kind of banned the kind of dessert fests that a lot of that food was in their early childhood by saying sugar's bad for you, causes cancer, it's inflammatory.
All true, by the way.
All true.
No! No, 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 no! No! No, no, no,
film starts with couples therapy.
Yeah.
Have you ever had couples therapy? I mean, I know we're not going to chat about your private life, but...
This is certainly not something I'm going to talk about.
That's not a personal question, is it? You don't have to say exactly what you had. Anyway, couples therapy. The film starts with a scene of you having couples therapy, you and Olivia's character.
Yeah.
And, I mean, couples therapy. I don't know if I would ever have couples therapy, but... apparently it's quite effective. I looked it up and I thought, like, surely it's not effective. Because I would think that if you went in and sat there and you aired your grievances about your partner, it would just be impossible to get any kind of meaningful, satisfying result from that. You know, wouldn't you just constantly be carrying around resentments about each other and not really being honest and
I think
trying to settle scores in a way that it was...
No, I don't. It shouldn't be. I think it shouldn't be about that. It shouldn't be about scores. I think once you get into a world of scarcity and going, but you did this and I did that, and what's fair, what's not fair. A good therapist, I suppose, holds you together, and that's what a couple of therapists is supposed to do, right? They hold you in the conversation, and I don't know. Maybe it's a safe place to air some of those grievances if that language becomes too inflammatory at home. Or that problem becomes too inflammatory at home. Maybe that helps. I don't want to do a whole industry down. I mean, the film sort of satirizes it because they're such a ridiculous couple at that moment. They don't just, undermine the task by writing. They're supposed to write 10 things I love about you, something good about the person. And, Theo's list about her is really underwhelming and conditional. I like the shape of her head at a distance. I remember her smelling nice on occasion. I prefer being married to her than a wolf. I mean, it's not very good. And then she writes a list of things she hates about him, which is very Ivy, ending in a brilliant diatribe, which I think is probably in the advert, but I'll let Olivia say it because it's funnier when she says the C word. And I just... It's their language between each other, and where it helps in that moment is that they realize what they haven't been doing. They haven't been speaking to each other. They've been speaking at each other, and there is a difference. You're not. It's been one-sided argument, and not. And then they laughter. They just the bridge of it is finding the other one amusing. I mean, I think he compliments us. I preferred your list. Your list was best.
Yeah.
Kind of was.
I know. Well, that's a
Tony
strange...
McNamara, and on many occasions, her lists and insults were often better.
Yeah.
But
it's a funny moment in the scene because you sort of think, well, if a couple are able to laugh at each other and with each other like that, then they're sort of okay.
But I think the therapist is absolutely right. All of it's very, very toxic and dangerous and could undermine any lasting relationship. And lo and behold, that's what happens. And they are very good at words, but they don't use them the right way. And they do... the teasing and cajoling, and it's corrosive. And when it becomes really combative in the film, it's violent and nasty and
literally violent
to a point that's intolerable for both of them. And then literal violence, exactly, which we deal with in a
it's quite
quasi-comic. It's heightened.
The tone is.
But there are bursts of real anger in there. We're not trying to make funny out of people that want to kill each other in a domestic environment.
Well, it's the same sort of heightened, slightly cartoonish tone that the Danny DeVito film had.
Exactly, where you kind of go, they're not going to do that, are they? Ooh. Yeah. And I think that was my reaction to them doing that. Ooh. I need a poo. Ooh. Where was I going with that? Sorry. It just heightened. That's the word.
Is it Grand Guignol?
What does that mean?
Well, it's something you would tell me. You must know. That's a theatrical phrase, isn't it? Grand Guignol?
A dish of snails? I don't know. Grand Guignol. It probably is.
For some reason, it's in my head. It's been in my head all my life. I've never known exactly...
Esprit d'escalier. I know that one.
Esprit d'escalier. You define Esprit d'escalier.
Esprit d'escalier. So I can feel a little bit better about not knowing Grand Guignol. Is when you are descending the stairs after an exchange in the salon and you have a blast of dope. That's what I should have said.
Yeah.
They didn't say dope in those days. Dope. But it's realizing the witty comeback that wasn't available to you in the moment.
Yeah.
So it's the spirit of the stairs because it's as you're leaving, you go, shucks, I missed it.
It is a very useful phrase because everyone feels it, especially in the modern world, in the social media world.
It's true.
Like, of course I know what I should have said. And especially after a confrontation in public or whatever, like if you get into a row with someone at the train station or whatever, and you you have the perfect, and you feel humiliated and tongue-tied in those moments, and then afterwards you're like, of course I should have said this brilliant thing. Esprit d'escalier. The other one that is useful as a concept is Schadenfreude, of course.
Schadenfreude.
Which,
well, I think that's to talk about the movie more, is very much a feeling. It's there, but for the grace of God, go we, as a couple night movie. It shouldn't be a depressing film. Hopefully you're kind of gunning for both of them, and not either or, but both of them, they love what they actually have. And secondly, when it gets really dark, you could kind of go, well, I can recognise bits of us, but whoa, thank God we didn't go there. There, but for the grace of God, go we. So the Schadenfreude is that enjoyment of other people's suffering, isn't it?
Yes.
The kind of vicarious
taking pleasure
thrill.
in other people's misfortune.
Exactly, which I think that's what art and storytelling can do. It gives us that kind of cathartic release of going, whew, thank God I didn't meet my father and blind him and bugger my mother. Ooh, not buggers, but you know what I mean.
Oh, yeah, I love that.
That's Oedipus. That's
your
not
next
the roses.
film.
Yes. Oh, dear.
A lovely glass of Schadenfreude. Or, as my son said the other day, Dad, who's Freudenschneider? I was like, okay.
A rip-off of Freud. He made hot dogs.
It's great, man. I really enjoyed it. It's like I just want to see a film about feelings and mad feelings, real feelings, relatable feelings, abstract feelings, whatever. It was good to watch a thing that was all about
really
that.
Glad to hear that. Thank you.
My feelings are important. My feelings are the best. Sometimes I feel happy. Sometimes I'm depressed. I love my feelings. Nothing is real unless it's something I feel. My feelings, my feelings, my feelings. That's where I start, that's where I end. And if you don't respect my feelings, then we can't be friends. We can't be friends. This jingle's all about my feelings. This jingle's all about my feelings. This jingle's all about my feelings. This jingle's all about my feelings.
I'm going to switch to asking you some questions that can be quick fire, so we don't have to dwell on them. You could give quick responses. I'm thinking of James Lipton a little bit.
Okay, great.
You were never inside the actor's studio, were you, yourself?
Or outside it, no.
No.
I'm like a loser.
You were barred from the actor's studio.
No, but I know who you mean.
Yeah, okay.
Inside the actor's studio.
Have you ever had a massive meltdown on a film set?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Shouting, throwing things.
Yeah.
Has it been filmed and
recorded and put out there like Tom Cruise? No.
No.
I mean, massive, probably not. Massive for me.
What was it about? Do you remember why it happened?
I wouldn't call it a massive meltdown, and I'm always very all over the place after I have any kind of loss of composure, but usually to do with insecurity, which is what it's all about with any actors that are notorious for that or do it on surprisingly. It's about a loss in confidence of self and going, help me, I'm naked up here and I don't know what the fuck I'm doing, and then you just look for something it's not about blaming someone. It's often, for me, in a bigger film, when a director's not there, when I'm just kind of in front of a camera, the crew are about 100 yards away, the camera's going like that, and I'm being flown around a street, and guess what production that was? That's difficult. Are you going to remind? You're looking at me as if like, well, that's interesting, Benedict. You haven't mentioned this one, which Martin Freeman told me about on the 7th of August.
No, I'm trying to. I'm cultivating sympathy for actors in that situation, having been criticised by friends, well, Louis Theroux mainly, for basing one of my podcast jingles on Christian Bale's meltdown on the set of Terminator Salvation.
My favourite one of your jingles. The other favourite of mine, just to get off the sticky subject of my meltdowns, is your Squarespace one. And I was trying to look for it on SoundCloud, and I can't find it. I don't know how to search for anything on SoundCloud. I'm so everything illiterate, but especially that. And I love it. I just love it because I'm a big fan of Michael Barbaro on The Daily. And, you know, the kind of the audio version of the of the noddy. You know, the kind of cutaway when an interviewer on telly is just nodding, going, deeply understanding what they're saying or kind of going along with it. And he goes, but you just take it to this section studio, go, it's just, that's me, age 12 and now. And I guess it's how all this started, actually, with dictaphones and doing silly voices and noises and my own version of
Is that what you used to do?
Stuff. Yeah. Well, it is. That was kind of before I was given more responsibility and actually doing it properly. I just kind of run around doing, and I think that's where my ear for impersonations and stuff like that came about.
On your dictaphone?
On a dictaphone at school, yeah.
Right.
And then just sort of going around and...
Yeah, the magic of recording your voice and hearing it back for the first
having
time.
Conversations with the character that I was portraying, a master or a pupil or someone made up, with other, and in front of kids as they were going to bed, and I was trying to be the authority in that moment. I remember doing that, and lots of skits and lots of things like that for real, as in with other people, but... Yeah, the Jiggles thing I've always loved. He shouldn't be angry with you about Christian Bale. Christian Bale's brilliant, and he can probably take it. It's probably very flattered, and it's very funny. But I probably imagine in that moment, I can put myself in that moment. And I've heard about that DOP. I've heard he is incredibly disrespectful.
Oh.
I've only worked with Christian down the line in Andy Serkis' retelling of The Jungle Book, which is wonderful to have a moment with him. Sadly, not on set, but he was so charming.
Right, let's go again. What don't you fucking understand? Kick your fucking ass! Let's go again! What the fuck is it with you? I want you off the fucking set, you prick! No! You're a nice guy! What the fuck are you doing? No! Don't shut me up! No! No! Da-da-da-da like this! No! No! Don't shut me up! Da-da-da-da like this! Fuck's sake, man, you're amateur. Seriously, man, you and me, we're fucking done professionally.
I think it's usually for me about feeling insecure, feeling that things are so far away and I don't know what I'm doing. I did a film recently, I won't mention because I don't want to involve the people's names in it and the anecdote, but my side of it, my sort of insecurity was that there'd been a discussion of something that wasn't going right in this long old action scene, this big old fight number, and counter directions coming from ADs and the first AD, and I was, please, can I have a director? Can I just have and everyone went really quiet because the director does a lot remotely. He watches it, he feeds in. But I said, I need my director. Well, I need the director here now, and everyone was like, a little bit. I felt, but probably not. Probably other people were going, yeah, that'd be nice. It would be nice. Come on, and he was fine, and he sorted it out. He knew that, I was having a bit of a hissy. And I needed to, have my knickers untwisted. Yeah. And it wasn't really a hissy either. It was just like, what the fuck are we actually doing? I can't hold like 5 different versions of this in my head and know which one I'm supposed to be doing. And it was cleared up and it was great. And actually, it made a difference. He really improved the bit that we were struggling with. But I have that sometimes. And it's usually when I don't understand what is wanted as well. Because I am, to my detriment at times, a bit of a people pleaser. And if I feel... And it's like, no. And I'm like, but I thought I was, no. And if I can't get that right, that wears me down. I don't think I have a hissy fit. So I just lose all kind of faith in being any good at anything at that point. And it's quite a spectacular amount of people to feel that in front of. And I've had that on stage countless times when you just go, I've lost everyone in this room. What am I doing here? They're just imagining other people doing this and thinking, why did they spend any money and time watching me kind of flail around and fail, So you just kind of have to have another point of focus in those crisis moments and go, I'm just going to work with the people opposite me. They know what I'm doing, and I got to really listen to them and hope that, something happens between us and not worry about my own crashing sense of inadequacy or fear,
Oh, it's very heartening to hear someone as accomplished as you struggling with those things.
That's true. I think we all do.
Of course. Impressions, though, I'm not going to get you to do the thing they did.
I've got a treat for you if we have time.
Yeah.
And my director actually said, and it wasn't the director I was talking about, this is Dylan Southern, who I just did, who's sort of originally from the sort of music video world.
Yeah.
So quite au fait with tech. He's a real cineast and he's a brilliant director. And this is his first time feature. It's an adaptation of a Max Porter novel called The Thing. Well, Grief is the Thing with Feathers. It's the brilliant novella, which you should definitely read. In our version, it's called The Thing with Feathers, and it's a very serious book for those listeners who know it, and a very serious subject, but dealt with in the most extraordinary. What was that phrase you had earlier? The grand guignol?
Grand guignol.
Kind of a bit of grand guignol going on in it at times, and humour and darkness and really authentic grief and tears and maelstrom. So it's quite rich, deep stuff. But this, however, is what he spent his time doing when he was in a bored moment of editing. And I just think you'll appreciate it. I did ask for his permission before I came on today because I thought, I don't have a jingle. I don't have the time or the whereabouts to do it, know how. But this is his first offering. Can I play this?
Out of my what?
Special hole.
Oh, my special hole.
And I thought, okay, that's
Dylan Southern, is it?
Yeah, but it could be Adam Buxton, and it was sort of slightly unnerving. But yeah, anyway, you can use that or not, but I thought I had to share that with you, whether it's in real time or
I'd love to.
Adam Buxton time.
All right, quickfire. Do you smell nice? What is your favourite smell?
It's important to me, yes.
Yeah.
I like natural smells, but I don't want to overload people with either that or the cologne cover-up, which I find that is more offensive actually than BO these days. It's like when you walk into an elevator and you smell of the cologne that person or the toilet that the woman has.
Well, we're in a hotel, which is one of those hotels that has quite a heavily perfumed lobby.
Don't you see? I'm so anaesthetized to it because I've been in here for 3 whole days. I'd probably smell of the hotel now when I go home. But
do you wear deodorant?
No, I wear rock salt, the rock crystal stuff. I use that. This is wow. I never thought I'd be talking about what I rub under my armpits with you.
Rock crystals you're rubbing under there?
Yeah. Well, it's basic salt crystal. Oh. It's called salt of the earth. And yeah, it's a natural bacteria killer. So it kind of kills the thing that makes the odor. Sure. It doesn't give you a nice smell. It stops you smelling bad.
Okay. So rub a bit under the arms, bit under the nutties.
I mean, yeah. Well,
sure.
Whoa. Well, we just... Maybe, leave that to the audience's imagination.
Okay, then. Here's a nice question.
Go on, then.
What always lifts your spirits? Could be in any medium.
Listening to you doing the Squarespace.
The Michael Barbaro impression.
It really makes me happy just thinking about it. There are a few things like that.
Using templates and drag and drop tools, you can create a professional-looking website in less than half an hour.
What else makes me happy? My family. Oh, what a suck-up and sentimentalist I am. But it's true. Those are the two things that make me happy, and my family.
Oh, thank you. I'm honest.
These are things that are coming off the top of my head. I mean, it depends. Nature. Going back to the proper vibrational frequency that we're all having at a rest state, which is apparently the same as the Earth's. That's been proven. So getting rid of your smart things and just walking around. And it could be a nice flat bit of Norfolk or a hilly, woody bit of somewhere. But, trees are my thing as well. I love that kind of tree bath thing.
Is there a film that reliably lifts your spirits that you return to?
I mean, the big ones seasonally, like It's a Wonderful Life. I remember Sophie and I were in Edinburgh and she went, let's go and see it. It's on at the cinema. I've seen it too many times. My God, though, on the cinema, the microscopic detail of how extraordinary those performances are.
I haven't seen it for years.
Oh, he's so good in it. I mean, and not just because it's kind of iconic, but it's a brilliant piece of naturalism. He's so... alive in everything he does. It's remarkable, and you really only get that hit, I think, in a close-up in a cinema.
Yeah.
Not on the iPhone.
No. What was it that David Lynch would say? If people feel they've seen a movie on their fucking phone, it's a tragedy. You haven't seen a film if you watch it on your phone.
Did you did a podcast? Did you do a podcast with him?
No, he was always on my wish list.
You did. We have done with... Is it Wim Wenders or is it...
Oh, Herzog.
How was that?
That was...
I should listen to that one on the way home.
Oh, that's quite a good one.
Is it?
Yeah, it worked out well. We had some technical issues, and I initially thought... We had one session via Zoom that ended with me just giving up, basically, after half an hour. He was getting more and more frustrated, and he said, I knew this would happen. This is grotesque.
I mean, that...
Because of the technical issues, he really hates all that.
Grotesque.
This is grotesque. I told them it would happen like this.
I love your version because it's like he's got an elastic mouth.
Yeah, my version has gone quite... Yeah, what's your version?
I think he's a little tighter. Everything's just a little... His jaw is hurting when he speaks.
But yours is like,
I know.
I want to swallow a tennis ball.
Mine's gone quite a long way from reality.
It's more like Velvet Underground.
That's right. It's Nico, yes.
It's tremendous, Nico.
I'll be your mirror. It is grotesque.
Wait. This is an advert for Squarespace.
Hello, I'm the algorithm. I want to help you and give you what you want and like. Today, I'm going to help you get a website. You want one, it's very nice and useful. You can make a website at Squarespace. If you go to squarespace.com/Buxton, you can do a free trial. Oh gosh, look at all the templates they've got. Try them out. They look so professional and classy. You like to look professional and classy, and I want to help you do that because I'm the algorithm. I think you will like Squarespace. You can put things in the pages so easily, like typing and pictures and video, and you can set up a shop or get subscribers and send out newsletters to all of them. And when you decide it's time to purchase your website or domain, if you use the offer code Buxton, you'll save 10%. I am the algorithm. I just want to help you and give you what you want and like with Squarespace.
Continue.
Have you ever put drugs on your bum? People do that, don't they?
They do. I don't.
Hey, welcome back, Podcats. That was Benedict Cumberbatch talking to me there, of course. Well, just there, it was us going to a place that I thought better of going to. There was a PR person in the room, and I didn't look over at that exact moment, but I was getting the feeling that I should move on from that particular subject. Anyway, it was really great to meet Benedict, and I'm very grateful to him and his team for making the time to talk to me. A reminder that The Roses is in cinemas now, and later this year you'll be able to see Benedict in that Dylan Southern film, The Thing with Feathers. Before I say goodbye, another couple of cultural recommendations for you. Miranda Sawyer's podcast, Talk 90s to Me. Miranda is a great journalist who writes brilliantly about music. She's been on this podcast before, and actually she has invited me onto her podcast to talk about the 90s and pop culture and DIY TV and music and all that kind of stuff. I'm looking forward to that. But it was good timing because I'd been audio booking her Britpop book, which is called Uncommon People. The synopsis begins, when Miranda Sawyer interviewed Noel Gallagher in 1995, his gag, wishing Damon Albarn would die of AIDS, became front-page news. This fascinating pop history exploring the mid-90s moment when British music suddenly meant everything explains why, picking out 20 key songs, delving into the surprising stories behind them and their unlikely creators. Uncommon People takes us back to when Jarvis Cocker became a national hero, Train Spotting was a global hit, Fire Starting seemed like a good night out, and it felt as though the revolution was happening. A very different time. Anyway, as I said, she writes really well about it. I'm enjoying it so much, and I'm looking forward to appearing on her podcast, Talk 90s to Me. Also, I just listened to the first episode of a Radio 4 series, which you can listen to now on BBC Sounds, What Happened to Counterculture. It's presented by Stuart Lee. In fact, I was going to mention it last week when I talked about bumping into Stuart, but I forgot. And it's produced by Simon Hollis. The blurb says, comedian Stuart Lee presents a 5-part series exploring the evolution and key ideas that have driven counterculture from its beginnings with the beats, folk and jazz in the 1950s to its heights in the 1960s and 70s, including the hippies and early tech communalists, the new libertarian movements and punk, to the 1980s and early 90s, where political power on both sides of the Atlantic pushed back against the values of the permissive society. It's good, interesting, timely. You got contributors that include Brian Eno, authors Ian Sinclair and Olivia Lang, music producer Joe Boyd. I loved his book White Bicycles. I really recommend that. Joe Boyd produced early Pink Floyd and Nick Drake and was a seminal figure in the British folk movement in the 60s. It's such a good book, White Bicycles. There's also sculptor Emily Young, cultural historian John Savage, folk singer Shirley Collins, and that's just in episode 1. What happened to counterculture? There's a link in the description that will get you to BBC Sounds where you can listen to it. By the way, I'm not sponsored by them, the castle that is. It's just something I enjoyed and I thought I would share it with you. And finally, hope you'll forgive me for mentioning it again, but it would be sort of insane if I didn't, considering it comes out this week. My album, Buckle Up, lands on the 12th of September. There's a link in the description that will enable you to pre-order a vinyl copy that comes with beautiful signed artwork. And the same day that the album comes out, I think I'm right in saying, single number 3 comes out, Dancing in the Middle.
There's a good team and a bad team, and the team in between never wins, cause that team are the wankers. All they do is fiddle, dancing in the middle.
And it will be accompanied by a video by animator Cyriac Harris. If you used to come to bug shows, you will have seen many of Cyriac's videos that we used to play there. If you've never heard of Cyriac Harris, well, I would go exploring. Type in Cyrik, Cyriac, YouTube animations, and you're going to have a crazy, strange time. But Cyriac has also directed many excellent music videos over the years, including one for my counting song. Counting, 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 counting things you like. That was Cyriac, although on that one he was working with artist Sarah Brown doing the illustrations. This time it's just solo Cyriac doing a video for Dancing in the Middle. Hope you enjoy it. I'm really delighted that Cyriac did it. And overall, I really hope you like the album. It's like a mixtape of extended jingles. Is that good? I've been doing press for it this week, which is slightly anxiety-inducing, and I often come out kicking myself for feeling that I've kind of undersold the album, put myself down too much. You know what I'm like. But the truth is, I'm really happy with it. I'm very grateful to everyone who's helped me put it together, and I really hope you like it. All right, that's it for this week's episode. Thank you very much indeed once again to Benedict Cumberbatch. Thanks to Seamus Murphy-Mitchell for his production support and additional conversation editing. Thanks to everyone at Acast for liaising with my sponsors. Thanks to Helen Green for her beautiful artwork. But thanks most of all to you. Oh, you did it again. You came back. You listened to the end. I hope you enjoyed it. Hope it didn't send you into an apoplectic rage for any reason. And whether it did or not, I hope you won't consider me too forward if I propose a bit of a hug. Hey, come on. It's just a hug. All right? Nice to see you. I hope you're doing well out there. Go carefully. Until next time, I love you. Bye!